if you're a supporter of Israel and you're wondering why a lot of these big name personalities, social media influencers, have seemingly turned their back on Israel and the Jewish people, and they do it in various forms. Some come right out and are just straight out hateful and hostile and anti-Semitic. Others do it in a more subtle way. They start to, or at least they claim to be supporters of Israel and love the Jewish people. Yet they'll sit there and question the tactics of the Israeli government while they are facing a seven-front war, and while they're being attacked from every direction, including from the United Nations, who seem to have an absolute obsession, an obsessive hatred with everything that relates to Israel and the Jewish people. This has been going on for thousands of years. It's very clearly detailed and outlined in the Bible. One book of the Bible, the book of Nehemiah, a man by the name of Nehemiah felt led by God to rebuild the broken down walls of Jerusalem, and he was faced with opposition from two people by the name of Sanballat and Tobias and a number of others who absolutely disdained what he was trying to achieve. And they used a variety of different techniques that we're seeing employed today, intimidation, mockery, and every other tactic that they could come up with. But one of the tactics that they used was to bribe the prophets of God, to lie to Nehemiah, to misrepresent the situation to Nehemiah, and to try to intimidate Nehemiah into committing a sin. And in so doing, he would undermine his reputation and undermine what he was trying to achieve. And Nehemiah, of course, was very discerning and recognised what was going on. But the point is that same technique is being used by hostile nations, and I'd suggest nations like Qatar and other locations which have a sworn hatred and a disdain toward Israel and everything that they represent. And they are, make no mistake about it, they are funding organisations, they are funding individuals to turn on Israel and to try to undermine Israel. This thing has been going on for thousands of years, and it's important to recognise that. There's been some very, very prominent people that have been otherwise extremely supportive of Israel and the Jewish people, and they have had this sudden about turn. And like I said, some of them more subtle than others. Some of it comes across in a more of a patronising, demeaning way, almost like they still care. They're being fatherly in a sense, but trying to direct them in a direction that would not be beneficial to them. At the end of the day, Israel will stand alone if necessary. They will overcome. They will succeed. God is with them. God is on their side. So it's really an opportunity for us as individuals or as nations to receive a blessing, to be blessed. The Bible is very clear that they that bless Israel will be blessed. They that curse Israel will be cursed. So I'd want to encourage you, if you're wondering where to stand in relation to this extremely important issue, to seek to be a blessing to Israel, to seek to support Israel and the Jewish people in standing up to these intimidation tactics by the United Nations and by other unscrupulous nations and influencers and leaders out there that have an obsession with Israel.